Hey guys, Cosmos here from Doll Games, and I just want to share with you one tip for knights, specifically for doing Lord's Trial. So as you see here, I'm just finishing up my keys for the week. It's Sunday now, and I had a bunch of keys so I can get to a relatively high level on the third difficulty, while I did my 30 keys on the second difficulty this time. But anyways, the tip is about an interesting way of doing Lord's Trial for knights that I discovered myself. Maybe some other people discovered it as well, but if you didn't, here it is for you. So the way it works is simply by using a combination of a Chaos Rune together with a Wrath Strike. And unlike normally when you start with an attack, we will start with the battle with a rune, and the point of that is to damage the boss, so that when you do Wrath Strike, it will target the boss always, because the boss will be the only one damaged. And then after that, the boss will be affected by chaos, and a 50% chance he will hit one of his mobs. So here you see the Chaos Rune deals 100% damage to random enemy, attacks players first. So in the case of PvE, it targets bosses first. And sorry, it's 100% chance to be unable to tell enemies and allies apart. So, and it works pretty good for knights, because knights don't have a cheap AoE. Our spin attack costs 80 rage, so that makes it a difference versus mages and archers, who do Lord's Trial much easier than knights. So here we go, we're gonna do 22. So as I said, I'm gonna start with a rune, not with a regular attack. Here we go, the rune is gonna hit the boss over here. Then I do Wrath Strike, and that's targeting the boss already, so I don't care if the mobs are alive or not alive. So it goes to the boss. Okay, I'm stunned, but it's basically okay. The willpower will take it out. And the mobs are not scary at all, so of course it's just the boss you need to get rid of. The archers do this the best. I think mages second best. They just AoE through the whole thing straight away. But knights have a bit of a problem, unless of course you are a bit of a higher, somewhat casher knight and have starting rage 80 or higher. So we're gonna do it again. There's a third benefit to this. I'll explain it in a moment. Watch the boss attacking his mobs. Assuming there, see, he hits the top mob over there. And again he hit this guy over here. So I'm safe. This is very good for knights, and especially if you're weaker and you don't have so much health and defense. I'll talk about the third benefit in a second. Let's do one more battle. My starting rage is just below the required amount, so watch the boss. Okay, this time he attacked my willpower instead of his mobs, so it doesn't always work. That's why I remembered 50%. Although the description says it should be 100% of the time. Alright, and for the bosses, you start with a slasher and do do the D-side attack, followed by a rune if he survives that. But normally they don't survive it, because that's a really strong attack. Okay, this is a higher level boss, so he made it. He even made the rune, but that's okay. This one is out. So the third benefit is coming from the Wrath Strike itself. When you do it that way, you also have a chance, because the other way I think knights play more commonly is doing a gash and then a spin attack. Doing it this way protects you from the boss's attacks and guards your health. But also Wrath Strike has this other benefit that you have a 50% chance that the damage taken will be reduced by 50%. So even if the boss evades chaos one way or another, let's say your willpower killed all the mobs, so even in that case, you have a 50% chance of being 50% protected for any additional attacks from the boss. So that's another benefit. As I'm recording, I'll just go to the end, to the last 4 battles. So again, watch the boss. Normally he should attack his mobs there. So I got saved from that attack completely. Now comes the Wrath Strike on the boss always. Oh, did that go to the mob? I think the boss might have. I'm not sure. I should rewatch that. So this one failed a little bit. I hit the mobs instead of the boss. Maybe I made a mistake because I'm focusing on the recording rather than the battle too much. Because I know I'm pretty safe anyways. Alright, we're gonna start with a rune. At this point, only the boss has lost health. So there, you see the targeting is already showing. The boss is being targeted by the Wrath Strike. That hits the boss, but now I'm not sure if the Wrath Strike will target the boss, because maybe the boss hit the mob and the mob will have a lower health. But I rely on the willpower to clean up the mobs. But we are on high level now and he's having problem doing that. So I need a backup for the 3rd turn. What I could do. No, I don't have any other options what I could do. Alright, let's go again. So the first time you're guaranteed that you will target the boss because he's the only one that's damaged. I'm only wondering about this 2nd turn. Now that mob is hurt, so I'm gonna go with a gash then. And then I'm gonna do these sides to finish off the boss. I'm just trying out different things, but I thought that at least up to high level, this way of fighting the Lord's Trial, I thought it was very nice. I tried it for the first time. I thought about it today for the first time, and it came out well. Oh, what I can do now is I can actually do Holy Seal. So let's imagine one of the mobs has low health, so I cannot guarantee targeting on the boss. So I'll do Holy Seal to protect myself from the a possible boss attack, and then I can do safely Wrath Strike again, as the Eudemons have cleaned up the mobs. So yeah, that's probably the best way of going about it. And on the lower levels, you should go with Dragon. So I am missing just one key to do stage 30. It's very unfortunate, but I think I was already lucky enough to be able to do 29 of difficulty 3 and 30 of difficulty 2. So I must have gotten some good rolls by praying, and you can also increase your efficiency of praying by reading the article of what way to do to have statistically higher chance of getting more cards. That's on my blog, you can search for it. And on lower levels you can do in Dragon Chant form, so you switch to Dragon Chant form, and you can do the whatchamacallit, I forgot the name of the skill, the Curse of Agony. Now this works on, let's say, from level 1, on my character I'd say from level 1 to level 10, something like that. Of course it'll depend on what bell rating you have. But for my bell rating, I'd say the first 10 levels this works, and then the mobs become too strong for this skill. This skill actually hits very weak. It's only 120% of the skill damage, so doing almost the same as like a auto attack type of a thing. It's an AoE. It's a very cheap AoE, which I'm very happy for. I use it a lot as knight when I need AoE to start with. So first levels you can do with that, and then you can switch to this strategy of doing Chaos and Wrath Strike. Alternative ways, of course, to do gash and spin attack. It also depends what type of a willpower you have. So for example, if you have the Void Emissary or Angel of Light, or even Sea Witch, those are more single targets, so they will not be able to clean up the mobs. Then you have to think about more about the spin attack. But if you do have an Eagle Warrior, he is very good at area, which is probably the main reason I have selected him to be my main one, because this one is a total area damage. It's very strong as well, and this one is almost area. It's 2 to 4, so it's a little bit depending on luck. So let's call it 3 in average. And this one hits 2 enemies as well. And I removed this one for Lord's Trial. This one hits the back row, and I always remove it for Lord's Trial because you have that case with the formation with one guy in the back, boss in the middle, and then 2 guys in the front. And if that one activates on that battle, it's horrible because it just hits that one mob in the back. So I usually run with these 3. I consider removing the Half Moon Cut because it guarantees 2 targets only, but you do sometimes run into 3 rounds, so that's why I keep these. But yeah, you could easily go with just these 2 to increase your AoE chances during Lord's Trial, and then of course re-equip that afterwards. But yeah, I just wanted to share with you that interesting strategy. Normally Chaos Rune is not supposed to work on bosses in PvE, but Lord's Trial is an exception. And a lot of things work in Lord's Trial. Also stun works from the artifact, so if you have an artifact that's stunning, that will work on Lord's Trial as well. So that's it, you guys. Thanks for watching and have a very nice day. The links are in the description of the video: wartune.dollygames.com, dollygames.com, etc. So please share, subscribe, like if you enjoyed it, and that's it. Thanks and have a very nice day.